Hey, what's up, everybody? TJ Milam, tjfitness.net. Wanted to get into this article I came across by the Enid News and Eagle, and it is written by Janelle Steckline. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Came out a couple days ago, February 7th. Today's the 9th. And the title of the article, and it's out of Oklahoma. Bill would mandate fitness assessments for school children. All right, so let's just go ahead and get into it here. An Oklahoma lawmaker is proposing a measure that would require students starting in third grade to undergo an annual fitness assessment in an effort to gauge how healthy children are and to aid state agencies in shaping health policy around those outcomes. House Bill 2257, authored by State Representative Danny Sterling of Tecumseh, would require schools to test factors that have been identified as essential to overall health and function, including aerobic capacity, body composition, muscular strength, endurance, and flexibility based on standards specific to a student's age and gender and based on the physical fitness level required for good health. So I think this is, well, it sounds like a good thing. We all want more, better fitness in schools and, of course, better food. That is key. But this is pretty tricky. How do you, I just wonder what kind of tests they're going to get into to, test these things like the aerobic capacity. I mean, they can go run, or they're going to get on a treadmill. The muscular strength. I mean, I wonder if they're going to just do push-ups and chin-ups, and I don't know, squats. I mean, how are they going to do that? Are they going to have weight machines or make them use dumbbells? That's interesting. Everybody's strength is different than the next, and third grade is so young. A lot of that depends on genetics as well. That's a whole nother ball of wax there. Endurance and flexibility based on standards. I mean, kids are pretty flexible anyway. Endurance is going to be tough. I mean, that's probably just a run. I would assume you just make them go for a run outside or in the gym. So curious about how they're going to actually test for all of these different things. Body composition, that's pretty easy. And the best body composition device is a bod pod, from what I hear. I have not used a bod pod. When I test clients, I use the, of course, I can't remember, calipers, the 7 site skin fold calipers with clients. I mean, it's not 100% accurate. There's always human error involved, but give or take 2 to 3%, you're, hopefully close. But it doesn't test the fat under the muscles if there's any fat surrounding the organs. That's why the bod pod, it's more expensive to use, but the best way to test body fat. All right, let's keep on going here. Districts would be required to provide the results to a parent or guardian. Duh. The performance data also would be submitted anonymously to the State Department of Health to help that agency assess the effectiveness of its health programs and to develop recommendations for modifications to physical education and wellness programs. The bill would also require the state education and health departments to analyze the performance results for each school district to determine if there's any correlation between fitness, student obesity, student attendance levels, student academic achievement levels, student disciplinary problems, and school meal programs. Well, school meal programs is one of the most obvious. That needs to get fixed right fucking now. That's been bad for a long time. I'm sure some schools around the country have gotten it right, and I'm sure the schools that maybe get it have an easier time. Well, maybe I should say easier, but have more access to healthier foods are probably private schools that have a lot more money, because we all know that usually healthier food is more expensive. Healthy food's a lot more expensive than McDonald's. You could buy, some vegetables would be the same cost as meat, especially red meat. Chicken, fish is through the roof. That's pretty expensive now. Mainly vegetables, not too much, but everything's up. So it's much easier to drive through McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever, any fast food place, and get a whole meal that's super bad for you, like 1,000 calories you don't need, and stuff your body with that. So that's why fried foods or pizza, soda, all that junk, fries are always so easily available in schools rather than healthy food. I know it's more expensive, but usually I always go to the parents. Are the parents teaching the kid how to eat right? Is the parent eating right? Because the kid's likely going to copy the parent. You are the number one role model in their life, and I always go back to them. You know, the parent should be. This is what you're going to get at school. Of course, you can't always have perfect control, but and if the school doesn't have that available, that's a tough call. But then you make your kids lunch. I made mine all the time. My mom made me. I was a peanut butter sandwich guy, nonstop. That's all I really ate. I was very fortunate to have a really fast metabolism. I was a little guy, as you can see, still kind of little, but always made my own lunch. I never really wanted pizza or burgers or fries at school or anything. Okay, now I've totally lost where we were. Okay, let's scroll down some more here. A report would be required to be submitted to the governor, who then may establish recognition programs to acknowledge districts and schools that have most improved in their physical fitness assessments. I see. So they want to give recognition or kind of praise the most improved schools. Well, of course you're going to do that. I guess why wouldn't you do that? I don't know. Is they're going to do that on the news? They can do it on the paper. I mean, they're going to find out anyway. But that's probably it's going to maybe that'll cause other schools to keep up. But again, the financials have so much to do with that. Who can afford it? Who can't? And I think the article gets into that a little bit later. But I think it's okay to be recognized if a school does a good job of keeping kids healthier. You know, again, I always go back to the parents. I think it's their number one responsibility. But I do kind of like that schools are taking more initiative in getting healthier food. That's just got to be done anyway. Okay. Sterling did not respond to requests for the comment. Well, State Representative John Waldron of Tulsa said the state's physical fitness standards are awful and more needs to be done to improve student health. I like the bluntness of that. However, when Sterling previously unsuccessfully ran a similar bill, it was controversial, Waldron said. Waldron said legislators on both sides of the aisle had concerns about ensuring the privacy of student health records. He said there was an ick factor to providing children's health data to help a state agency shape wellness campaigns, and there were fears that the results could be used for fat shaming. Well, fat shaming is I don't know that's kind of a newer term. I get it. I don't think it should be done. I think people shouldn't do that. Is it always going to happen? Yes. Are kids going to get made fun of? Yes. I got fucked with nonstop being a little guy. So that's why I started exercising. Big reason why I started. So, you know, if you don't like getting called fat or whatever the name, you know, I could go into all that. You know what I'm saying? Got to get into a program, get into a fitness program, do a sport, find a way to eat better. Discipline, discipline, discipline. That's got to be, I think that's number one. That's where diet starts anyway, is discipline. You're either being disciplined or you're not. And kids are either being disciplined or they're not. All right, conservatives tended not to like the data privacy problems, and liberals tended not to like the body image questions. He said he'd support legislation to improve physical fitness if it provided support for schools. But he wants to know the consequences districts would face if their schools don't measure up to the fitness standards. He also fears that the bill would add another layer of bureaucracy to an already strained system. So it sounds like, according to that person, the financials, the money is maybe there or maybe not. It sounds like it's going to be tough to pull the money out where they need it to go. But that's where that just get a fundraiser going. I don't see any problem with that. That should help it. But the bureaucracy, that's a word I hate. I'm sure you hate it too. Waldron said Oklahoma's obesity rates are an issue. but there might not be a direct causation between obesity, attendance, or academic achievement. That is interesting. I wonder about that, but I would love a deeper dive into those things and if there is any correlation. Obesity, for instance, could be caused by lack of access to healthy foods, see? Or grocery stores at home, family poverty, of course, junk food being served in school vending machines, duh, or the need to provide healthier lunches, he said. All true. Probably what we need to do is understand all those complex factors and deal with it comprehensively rather than try to approach it from a single aspect. Waldron said, a lot of it is also beyond our state's control because it has to do with the way families are changing. I'd like more information on how the way families are changing. Not quite sure what they mean there. But that other statement, complex factors and deal with it comprehensively rather than a single aspect. So I get it, trying not to, maybe it's a more complex issue than just taking a one way approach. Let's start in third grade. Let's do these fitness assessments. That's a lot of pressure. I can't really imagine being in third grade again, around 7, 8 years old, and I certainly remember going to physical education or PE class every year, which was fantastic. But you're a kid. You go to school. You got to do all these fitness things. The parents get why. The parents understand why, but a kid's like, okay, I'll just do whatever you say. And then how are they going to get told? I mean, they're going to get told, well, you're bad at this. You're good at this. That's a tough spot to be in. So we'll see if this ends up going through and making any kind of impact. Very curious. In an email, Lauren Laux, executive director of Oklahoma Association for Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance, said the group supports the work of teachers, schools, and research as it is implemented in quality physical education and health programs. Bill 2257 may serve as a baseline to gain insight into student fitness, healthy weight, academic achievement, classroom behavior, and student attendance, Laux said. OPIRD supports inclusive assessment, including children with disabilities. Okay. Yeah, that's another thing. There's going to be kids with disabilities who maybe they can't move as much as a kid without a specific disability. So how does that all work? Tough spot. Good article. I like the insight there. I wonder how that's going to go down. And I haven't looked into, obviously there was a quote there that Oklahoma's fitness level of kids is really bad. All right, what John Waldron said, the state's physical fitness standards are awful. Okay, so that's what they meant there. I misspoke there. So, but I do wonder what the state of Oklahoma's kind of fitness level is. Or I mean, I'm in Tennessee. Tennessee's been bad for a long time. I'm in Nashville, which I think has changed a lot as a city. A lot of people from Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, all over the country are moving here, and I think that's kind of cool. They're bringing their fitness ideals here and staying in shape. I think it's getting better, but I certainly get as a Tennessean not doing a good enough job for schools and their health, especially with the lunches. That's got to get fixed. Snacks, something's got to get done. But I like this article a lot. I am really curious to see, is it going to work? I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, there's another article down the road, maybe in 6 months or a year. We'll see if there's any progress, and I'll do a follow-up video on that. So my thoughts on that. I mean, I'm kind of neutral. I like that they're going to find a way to implement more health and fitness in their schools. However, is this the right way to do it? I don't know. We'll see. Interesting way to do it. But I bet there's going to be more change to it. Of course, it's not going to be perfect. But interesting to see what it does down the road. See you next time.